You've probably noticed how insincere people can be. It's a harsh truth, but that's the reality. At some point, sooner or later, most people will disappoint you. Not because the world has turned against you, it's human nature. Before you get frustrated, think about it. How many times have you expected someone to behave a certain way, only to realize that their priorities don't align with yours? That's exactly right. Stoic philosophy reminds us of an important truth. We can't control other people, but we can control our reaction to them. Instead of wasting energy trying to change others, accept the fact that they will not always meet your expectations. It's not easy, but the sooner you realize and accept these 9 harsh truths, the sooner you will learn to deal with them and succeed. We have split the video into 2 parts to make it easier for you to absorb the information. Let's begin. First truth. Time waits for no one. One of the cruelest and most unrelenting truths of life is that time doesn't stop for anyone. No matter how hard you try, the clock keeps ticking relentlessly, and you see it slipping away like sand through your fingers. Sometimes we get stuck thinking about the people around us, their influence on our lives. We want them to change, adapt to our expectations, or at least stop causing pain. But here's the harsh reality. Time waits for no one. And no matter how hard you try, people won't either. People can disappoint not because they're bad, but because they are who they are. Nothing is as liberating and heartbreaking at the same time as realizing that people act in their own interests, not yours. If you expect someone to remain the same, even when their priorities have changed, you'll inevitably face disappointment. It's like trying to stop a storm just because you don't want to get wet. No matter how much you want it, the storm will still pass its way. Sometimes we think we can change people with advice, patience, or love. But the truth is, you're trying to resist a force you can't control. Accepting that people won't change for you is as important as knowing how to swim in a turbulent river. Knowing that the waters won't calm just because you want them to. If you really want to improve your life, instead of wasting energy trying to change others, start by adjusting your own expectations. How to accept this harsh truth without pain. Stoicism offers us a key principle. Focus on what you can control and let go of what's beyond your power. Instead of waiting for people to change, direct your energy towards how to react to their actions and how to adapt to their limitations. It's like course correction. When you encounter an unexpected obstacle, it might disappoint you, but it won't stop you. Accept people as they are. Don't try to change them or expect them to behave differently. Instead, improve your ability to cope with life's surprises. Adjust your expectations and direct your energy towards what truly matters to you. After all, time waits for no one, and you shouldn't waste it expecting someone to change for you. As Mario Alonso Puig said, life doesn't pause waiting for changes in other people. It continues, like the unchanging course of time. So the main question remains, what will you do with this time? Second truth. Suffering is inevitable, but you choose how to deal with it. Does it seem to you that life is a series of continuous difficulties? If so, you're not alone. Life is indeed full of trials. But here's the point. Not every suffering has to turn into a tragedy. Yes, suffering is inevitable, but how you deal with it depends entirely on you. Think of life as a grand party where sufferings are unwanted guests who always come uninvited. Whether it's a bad day at work or disagreements in relationships, sufferings appear suddenly. But what's important is not the suffering itself, but your reaction to it. Stoic philosophy reminds us that we can't control external circumstances, but we can always control our reaction to them. It's like a superpower, turning chaos into opportunity. How to choose the best way to respond to suffering. First, Accept that people will inevitably disappoint you. Imagine them as ingredients in a recipe that don't always blend perfectly. Instead of getting angry about the imperfection of the dish, learn to adjust the recipe. This means setting boundaries, communicating effectively, and most importantly, understanding that your inner well-being shouldn't depend on others' behavior. Here's a practical advice. Perceive every conflict or disappointment not as a personal failure, but as an opportunity for a lesson. If a friend let you down in a difficult moment, instead of getting angry, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Maybe it's a lesson in trust or a call for greater independence. Think of suffering as training for the soul. Just as physical exercises strengthen the body, emotional difficulties strengthen your character. In this sense, suffering is a trainer that helps you become stronger. The question is not whether suffering will come, but what you will become thanks to it. The next time suffering knocks on your door, don't panic and don't perceive it as a catastrophe. Remember that your reaction is your choice. Life is full of difficulties, but it's your reaction that can turn these difficulties into a tool for growth. As one Stoic sage said, we can't avoid the storm, but we can learn to dance in the rain. So when suffering comes, remember that it's inevitable. But your choice of how to meet it is always yours. Third truth. You won't be liked by everyone. Have you ever thought that you could become the next Steve Jobs or Lionel Messi if only people understood you? If you've imagined yourself as a version that everyone adores, you're in for a harsh reality. You won't be liked by everyone, and that's okay. Accept the harsh truth. There's no magic formula that guarantees love and recognition from everyone. Imagine yourself at a party. Most people seem charmed by you, but in the far corner, someone is criticizing you for some reason. What to do? Hide to avoid criticism? Of course not. You'll continue to enjoy your evening because it's impossible to be a hero for everyone. Stoicism reminds us that the opinion of others is something we can't control. Worrying about pleasing everyone is like trying to hold water in your hands. Epictetus wisely noted, "Don't worry about what's beyond your control. If someone criticizes you, perceive it as a brief rain. It might wet you, but it won't drown you." In business, companies realize that not every customer is interested in their product, and instead of trying to please everyone, they focus on those who value their goods. So why not apply the same principle to your life? If someone isn't interested in you or doesn't value your qualities, don't waste energy trying to convince them. Focus on those who truly value you. Think of yourself as a brand. You don't need to strive for everyone to buy you. Imagine if Apple tried to please everyone and make everyone buy an iPhone. It's absurd. Instead, the company focuses on its loyal customers, and you should do the same. Surround yourself with those who value you for who you are, and let go of those who don't see your worth. Accepting the fact that you're not liked by everyone is liberating. You'll no longer carry the burden of others' expectations and can live for yourself. If you constantly try to please everyone, you'll eventually lose yourself. Who really wants to be someone who always craves approval? It's much easier and freer to be yourself with all your strengths and weaknesses, and allow others to either accept you as you are or not. As one wise man said, you can't be coffee that everyone likes. If you try to please everyone, you risk turning into warm water that satisfies no one. Fourth truth. Expectation leads to disappointment. Expectation is the perfect machine for creating disappointments. Have you ever wondered why it's so difficult to communicate with people? As if everyone around has signed a secret contract to disappoint you. But here's the harsh truth. It's not about them. The problem lies in your expectations. This is where Stoic philosophy comes to help, teaching us an important lesson. High expectations lead to disappointment. Imagine you're invited to a party and you expect it to be the event of the year, but when you arrive, you find a boring atmosphere. old-fashioned music, and a mediocre buffet. Disappointment? Familiar? Here's the point. People don't have to follow the script you've created for them. We often expect friends to always understand us, colleagues to perform their work flawlessly, and the world to obey our rules. But reality is much more chaotic and unpredictable. Stoics understood this perfectly. According to their teaching, our sufferings come not from events themselves, but from our expectations about these events. The first strategy to combat disappointment is adjusting expectations. Instead of counting on a perfect outcome, accept the fact that life is unpredictable and people may not meet your expectations. If an event turns out to be mediocre, you'll be able to approach it with humor rather than a sense of devastation. The second approach, focus on what's under your control, on your own reactions. Instead of getting offended if a friend didn't invite you to an event, try to understand that they have their own life with their own priorities. Keep your expectations realistic and learn to enjoy surprises. People, like soap opera characters, are unpredictable, and if you stop expecting perfect behavior from them, enjoying the show will become much easier. Another important tool is the mirror technique. Ask yourself, am I not imposing unrealistic standards on others? Everyone has their flaws and virtues, and you're not the supreme judge of their actions. Recognizing this fact will not only make you more tolerant, but also free you from the burden of your own high expectations. Life is a theater where most actors don't follow the script you've written for them. If you learn to let go of expectations and accept reality as it is, you'll save yourself from many disappointments. Stoicism offers an ancient but effective remedy. Accept what you can't change and focus on what's under your control. As Carl Jung said, expectation is the fertile soil on which disappointments grow. Cultivate acceptance, and the garden of your inner world will bloom. Fifth truth. Comfort is the enemy of progress. We live in an era when the couch has become the new throne, and routine our habitual religion. You've probably heard the saying that comfort is the enemy of progress, and maybe thought it was a cliché. But, oddly enough, this phrase reflects reality more accurately than we'd like to admit. The harsh truths we prefer to close ourselves off from are exactly those that make us get stuck in the comfort zone, as if we're hugging a teddy bear instead of facing life's challenges head-on. Let's conduct a thought experiment. Imagine you're participating in a marathon, but instead of running, you've comfortably settled on the couch with a remote in hand. Seems absurd, right? But this is exactly what happens when we refuse growth in favor of comfort. The couch symbolizes all the habits, beliefs, and thoughts that keep us in place. Pleasant? Of course. But what do we really get? Progress, like physical training, requires effort, discomfort, and sometimes even pain. This is where the realization of another harsh truth comes. Most people prefer to stay in their comfort zone because it's safe and predictable. But if you strive for growth, you need to understand that those around you won't always be the support you're counting on. Not everyone will share your dreams or push you forward. In the end, you'll have to become your own motivator, which can be uncomfortable but vital. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept what we can't change and focus on what's in our power. If you wait for the world to adjust to your desires for comfort, you're doomed to disappointment. Instead, accept discomfort as a sign of growth. What bothers you may indicate that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and this is a sure sign of progress. How to overcome the tyranny of comfort? Here are a few simple strategies. First, start with small steps that take you out of your usual routine. You don't need to run a marathon right away. Try a new route to work or do something you've been putting off for a long time. Second, surround yourself with people who challenge you. You don't need a crowd of followers, just a few people who will help you move forward. And finally, Detach yourself from attachment to results. Focus on the process and enjoy the journey itself, not its outcome. Accepting discomfort is accepting opportunities for growth. Maybe this path isn't the most comfortable, but it leads to real achievements. Staying in your comfort zone, you'll stand still while the world moves forward. So get up, shake off the dust, and boldly face the harsh truths. Progress is not about avoiding pain, but consciously using it for self-improvement. Let's stop here. In the next part, we will continue with the rest of the truths. The 9th truth is particularly difficult. Prepare to face it head-on. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to Wisdom Chronicles. Thanks for watching us. See you in the next videos.